There's a comfortable lie that almost everyone believes. The danger comes from outside, from declared enemies, from people who clearly show their intentions. But what if I told you that, most of the time, those who destroy your reputation have lunch with you, laugh at your jokes and call you a friend? It may seem harsh, but that's the reality when you start to see the world as Niccolo Machiavelli did. Politics guided by reality, not by ideals. Because in the game of power, the end justifies the means. And many people use this silently, strategically, almost invisibly. The problem is that you were taught to trust superficial signs, sympathy, closeness, shared stories. But these signs in practice may only be an appearance of virtue. And when you realize this too late, your image has already been corroded, not by a direct attack, but by a sequence of subtle, almost imperceptible movements. Now let me challenge you. How many times have you helped someone and then felt an awkward vibe or noticed someone speaking right in front of you? But there was something off about their behavior. Maybe you ignored it, thought it was your imagination, wanted to believe the best. But in Machiavelli's logic, decisions based on real human nature require a colder, more strategic perspective. It's not about distrusting everyone, but about understanding patterns. Because there are specific types of people who operate predictably, and when you learn to identify these patterns, you cease to be an easy target. It's better to be respected than loved, and above all, to avoid being hated without realizing it. Throughout this video, you will understand exactly who these people are, how they operate, and more importantly, how to protect yourself without becoming cold or disconnected. And here's the most important part. This isn't about paranoia. It's not about living in constant distrust of everyone around you. It's about clarity. It's about stopping confusing intensity with loyalty, closeness with trust, praise with respect. Because in the end, whoever masters reading people masters their own destiny. And if you want to grow, build something solid, position yourself with authority, you need to develop this vision. Constant adaptability is not optional, it's survival. So pay attention for the next few minutes, because what you're about to understand here, most people only learn after being betrayed, exposed, or discarded. And when that happens, it's already too late. If something inside you awakened while listening, don't ignore that feeling. This channel isn't about videos, it's about memories. Remember who you were before the fear, before the exhaustion, before the silence. Each new video here is a different reflection of your own soul, an invitation to understand what the world never taught you. The power you seek outside has always been within you. If you feel that this journey speaks to what lives silently within you, sign up now, not to follow yet another creator, but to reconnect with something the world tried to make you forget. Because here, every word was made to heal, each reflection to awaken, and each video serves as a reminder you are not alone on the path back to yourself. Click on subscribe and turn the algorithm into a daily reminder of who you really are. There's a type of person who seems to be born at rock bottom, and when someone extends a hand, they rise, but they never forget that they needed that help. And that's where the problem begins. They don't see it as an act of generosity. They see it as a silent proof of their own weakness, and that, however strange it may seem, corrodes them from within. In the cold logic of Niccolo Machiavelli, decisions should be guided by real human nature, not by ideals. And the reality is simple. Not everyone wants to be reminded of where they came from. When you help someone too much, without strategy, you may be creating an enemy disguised as an ally. Not because the person is bad in the common sense, but because they can't bear the emotional debt you represent. And that's where a delicate point comes in. The end justifies the means, yes, but only when you understand the whole game. Helping without considering the consequences is like handing over power without building loyalty. And without loyalty, there is no solid structure. What seems like gratitude today may turn into silent resentment tomorrow. Now think about it. How many times has someone helped another person at work, taught them everything, given them access, opened doors, and months later that same person became a direct competitor, or worse, started talking behind their back? This isn't a coincidence, it's a pattern. When someone rises based on your structure, but without developing their own virtù, that internal capacity to sustain themselves, they become dependent on your existence to feel inferior. And this generates an absurd amount of internal tension, the easiest way out for that person, to diminish you, to criticize you, to attack you indirectly, because that's how they rebalance their own ego. Machiavelli already warned about this when he talked about the appearance of virtue. Many people feign gratitude, but in practice are just waiting for the moment to free themselves from their own sense of indebtedness. And here's something practical. If you're going to help someone, help with clear limits. Teach, but don't give them everything. Guide, but don't create dependency. And above all, observe how the person reacts to the progress. Those who truly celebrate stay by your side. Those who change their behavior are already showing signs. And there's an even deeper detail. The resentful person rarely attacks head-on. They aren't the declared enemy. They're the type who smiles, agrees, even compliments you, but they gradually undermine your image. Small comments, planted doubts, distorted stories. It's a calculated use of force. Not brute force, but social, psychological force. And that's much more dangerous because you don't even realize when you start losing ground. Therefore, one of the most important rules is it's better to be respected than just loved. And above all, avoid being hated, but without becoming a hostage to the approval of others. If someone depends on you to rise, observe if that person is also building something of their own, or just using your structure as a ladder, because, in the end, whoever rises without a foundation always tries to bring down the one who served as support. And it is precisely at this point that another, even more sophisticated type emerges, the one who doesn't seem resentful, but lives trapped in a very convenient role. There's a type of person who possesses an extremely dangerous skill. They transform suffering into strategy. It's not that they've never faced difficulties. Often they have. But instead of using that as momentum, they use it as a shield, and, in many cases, as a weapon. The professional victim doesn't seek solutions. They seek constant validation. And here's a point few people dare to admit. Those who live this role quickly learn how to manipulate others' perceptions. According to Niccolo Machiavelli's logic, decisions should be based on real human nature, and the reality is that people tend to protect those who appear to be suffering. This creates a perfect environment for distorting narratives. While you're focused on growing, building, acting, this person is building an image. An image often is worth more than facts. The appearance of virtue in this case is replaced by the appearance of fragility, and this disarms any direct confrontation. After all, who wants to seem cruel when confronting someone who has already suffered so much? Now observe this pattern in practice. In the workplace, for example, there's always someone who never takes responsibility for anything. If something goes wrong, it's the system's fault, the team's, the boss's, life's, never theirs. But curiously, this same person always finds time to tell their own story, always with emotional details, always with a touch of injustice. And the more they reinforce this role, the more protection they gain around them. It's as if they create an invisible army of defenders, people who buy into the narrative without questioning. This is a calculated use of force, only indirectly. It's not an attack, it's influence. And here's something practical that changes the game. Start observing patterns, not speeches. Truly committed people show evolution over time. The professional victim, on the other hand, repeats the same problems in cycles, only changing the characters. If you want to protect yourself, stop playing the emotional game. Be empathetic, but don't be naive. Listen, but don't absorb. And above all, record behaviors, because emotional memory can be manipulated, but consistent facts cannot. And the most dangerous thing is that the professional victim rarely attacks you directly. They do something much more sophisticated. They shape others' perception of you. Small comments, half-told stories, subtle insinuations. All of this creates a distorted image, while positioning themselves as someone who has been wronged. And when you realize it, you're already being seen as the villain of the story. That's why, within Machiavelli's logic, avoiding being hated doesn't mean being passive. It means controlling the narrative before it's used against you. In environments where reputation is everything, whoever controls perception controls power. And it's precisely at this point that another, even more silent type comes in. The one who doesn't complain, doesn't suffer, doesn't confront, but observes everything with a constant smile. There's a silent rule that few people realize until it's too late. Whoever agrees with everything isn't on your side. They're studying you. The chronic flatterer doesn't engage in conflict, doesn't question, doesn't create tension. They validate. Always. And that's exactly why they become dangerous. Because while others show resistance and therefore reveal limitations, they adapt perfectly to your discourse. They laugh at your jokes, agree with your decisions, reinforce your worldview, and, without you realizing it, begin to map your patterns. In the cold logic of Niccolo Machiavelli, power isn't just about strength, it's about reading behavior. And the flatterer understands this better than anyone. They build emotional access before constructing any strategic move. And when you lower your guard, they already know exactly where your weaknesses are, because deep down, they're not interested in you. They're interested in the position you occupy. Now think about how many times someone has started approaching you with constant compliments. Wow, you're different. Nobody thinks like you. I've learned so much from you. And at first, that sounds good, of course. After all, who doesn't like recognition? But there's a very clear line between genuine respect and strategic validation. The flatterer doesn't want to strengthen you. They want to make you comfortable. Because comfortable people stop questioning. And when you stop questioning, you start trusting without criteria. That's where the real game comes in. This type of person observes your decisions, understands how you react under pressure, discovers what you value, and keeps it all. It's a calculated use of force, but in the most sophisticated form possible, information. And here's something practical that separates the attentive from the naive. Test people with small disagreements. Someone who truly respects you will stand by a different point, even if carefully. The flatterer, on the other hand, will adjust their speech on the spot. They don't have an opinion, they have a strategy. And the most interesting thing is that the flatterer rarely acts while you're at your peak. He waits, he observes, he positions himself, and when he perceives any sign of instability, a failure, a fall, a loss of influence, he moves, and he moves fast. Because while you believed you had a loyal ally, he was already ready to negotiate with the next center of power. This connects directly to one of Machiavelli's harshest ideas. It's better to be respected than loved, because love is volatile, but respect creates boundaries. Whoever lives surrounded by constant approval is in fact surrounded by risk. Therefore, constant adaptability is not just a skill, it's a defense. Observe who confronts you with respect and who only applauds you indiscriminately. Because, in the end, the easiest applause almost always comes from someone who is already planning their next move. And it is precisely in this environment of comfortable silence that an even more dangerous type emerges. There's a figure who, at first glance, seems balanced, mature, even wise, but who in practice can be one of the most dangerous, the neutral peacemaker. This is the person who always says, "I don't want to get involved. I prefer to stay out of it. This isn't my problem." And superficially, this sounds like emotional intelligence. But here's a hard truth. In real conflict scenarios, neutrality isn't the absence of a position. It's a choice, and almost always a choice that favors the most convenient side. In the logic of Niccolo Machiavelli, decisions need to be guided by reality, not ideals. And the reality is simple. When someone remains silent in the face of a threat, that person has already decided not to protect you. The problem is that the peacemaker doesn't seem hostile, they seem secure. And this creates a false sense of alliance. But at the critical moment, they disappear. And when someone disappears at the decisive moment, that absence speaks louder than any words. Now imagine a common scenario. You're in a competitive environment. It could be a company, a partnership, even a social circle. And someone starts distorting your image, planting doubts, creating small tensions. You notice, but you expect someone close to you to take a stand, confirm the truth, uphold your reputation. And what happens? Silence. The peacemaker observes everything, but doesn't intervene because they are calculating. They understand that taking sides could create risk, so they choose the safety of a mission. This is the calculated use of force, not through action, but through its absence. And here's the most strategic point. Whoever never takes a stand is always available for either side. Today, they don't get involved. Tomorrow, they might be smiling alongside the person who harmed you, and you don't even realize when that happens. Therefore, an essential principle is, trust isn't measured by what a person says, it's measured by what they do under pressure. Want to test this? Observe who stays by your side when there's real risk. That's when the masks fall. And there's an even more subtle detail. The peacemaker doesn't just remain silent, he often softens situations that should be confronted. He says things like, "I think you're exaggerating. It wasn't that serious. Let's leave it at that." And without realizing it, begins to weaken your perception of reality. This is extremely dangerous because it disconnects you from your own understanding of the environment, and when you lose that clarity, you lose power. Machiavelli spoke about decisions based on real human nature, and human nature in conflict situations reveals character through action. Those who don't act have already shown enough. Therefore, avoid being hated, yes, but never to the point of tolerating a mission disguised as balance. Because in the end, those who don't choose a side when everything is at stake may end up choosing the opposite side. And it is precisely in this space of misinterpreted trust that someone even more sophisticated emerges, someone who seems to open their heart too quickly. There's a type of connection that seems profound, but happens too quickly. It's that person who, in a short time, starts sharing intense stories, traumas, old pains, heavy secrets, all at once. And this creates connection, of course. After all, when someone opens up, the natural tendency is to reciprocate. But here's the detail that almost no one notices. Not all vulnerability is spontaneous. Some is strategic. Within the logic of Niccolo Machiavelli, the reading of human nature shows that whoever controls the information controls the relationship. And the instant confidant understands this. They're not just opening up, they're creating an environment where you feel safe to do the same. And when you realize it, you've already said things that would normally take months, maybe years, to reveal. This isn't deep connection. It's an artificial acceleration of intimacy. And intimacy without time almost always has a hidden cost. Now observe how this happens in practice. Someone you've recently met starts sharing something very personal. It could be a family trauma, a romantic disappointment, a serious problem, and it touches you. You think, this person trusts me. And then, almost automatically, you respond with something of your own as well. It's human. But this movement creates an invisible imbalance. The person now has access to sensitive information about you, while you still don't know who they really are. This is a calculated use of force, but emotional. There is no confrontation, no pressure. There is strategic openness. And here's something extremely practical. Never confuse intensity with depth. True relationships are built with consistency over time, not with emotional explosions at the beginning. If someone shares too much too quickly, slow down, listen, be supportive, but don't reveal in the same proportion. Let time test the intention, because time is the most efficient filter there is, and the most interesting thing is that the instant confidant rarely uses this information immediately. They keep it to themselves, they observe, they wait. Because sensitive information isn't useful for the present, it's useful for the right moment. It could be in a future discussion, in a negotiation, or even in a situation where your image is at stake. And then what you said in confidence can be used as a tool. This connects directly to the idea of an appearance of virtue. The person seems open, transparent, trustworthy, but deep down they are operating strategically. Therefore, constant adaptability isn't coldness. It's applied emotional intelligence. Not everyone deserves access to your complete story. And those who try to accelerate this access are usually not interested in you. They are interested in what you can reveal. And it is precisely in this environment of poorly calibrated proximity that the most dangerous type of all emerges. The one who is by your side every day. There's a type of threat that doesn't come from outside. It grows alongside you. It's the ambitious shadow, that right-hand man, partner, trusted collaborator. Someone who had direct access to your vision, your processes, your decisions. At first, it seems like loyalty. It seems like alignment. But over time, something begins to change. Small, almost imperceptible signs, excessive autonomy, parallel decisions, building relationships that no longer involve you. And here comes one of the most profound readings of human nature, according to Niccolo Machiavelli. Whoever shares power inevitably tests how far that power can go. The ambitious shadow doesn't just want to help, it wants to occupy. And often, it believes it can do better because it learned everything by observing you. The problem is that this type of movement doesn't begin with confrontation, it begins with structure. While you are focused on expanding, it is focused on consolidating. Now imagine a real-life scenario. You build something from scratch, investing time, energy, and risk. Someone comes along, learns from you, and grows with you. And little by little, they start creating their own connections, gaining influence, and making decisions without consulting you. In the beginning, this seems like healthy growth. After all, delegation is necessary. But there's a very clear line between autonomy and strategic independence. And when that line is crossed without transparency, something is being built behind the scenes. This is the calculated use of force in its most sophisticated form. It's not an attack, it's positioning. The person doesn't want to overthrow you directly. They want to become a viable alternative to your position. And when the right moment arrives, be it a crisis, a failure, or instability, they are already ready. Here's something practical that few apply. Never build a system where you are easily replaceable by someone who learned everything from you. Develop multiple control points, maintain visibility over operations, and, above all, don't completely outsource what sustains your power. And the most dangerous thing is that the ambitious shadow doesn't see itself as a traitor. It sees itself as natural evolution. In its mind, it simply deserves more, is already ready. Now it's its turn. Day. This makes everything even more complex, because there is no guilt, there is only justification, and when someone acts with internal justification, they don't hesitate. Therefore, within Machiavelli's logic, virtù and fortuna go hand in hand. It's not enough to be competent, you need to be attentive to timing and the behavior around you. It's better to be respected than loved, because respect creates clear boundaries, and boundaries prevent silent invasions. Observe who grows alongside you, but also observe how that person grows. Transparency generates trust, hidden growth generates risk, because in the end, the greatest dangers never announce their arrival. They develop within your own circle, taking shape while you still call them an ally. Now let me ask you a direct question. How many of these people have you recognized in your life? And more importantly, did you realize this before? Or are you only now beginning to see it more clearly? Because the truth is simple, but uncomfortable. No one is harmed suddenly. There is always a pattern, small signs, repeated behaviors that we choose to ignore. And that's where it all begins. In the cold logic of Niccolo Machiavelli, decisions based on real human nature don't allow for naivete. The end justifies the means, including those that other people use against you. So the question isn't whether this will happen. The question is, are you prepared to realize it before it happens? Now think about this. What will you do differently from today onwards? Will you continue to rely solely on sympathy? Will you ignore clear signs in the name of keeping the peace? Or will you start observing patterns, testing behaviors, creating real boundaries? Because it's better to be respected than loved. And respect begins when you stop accepting just anything in the name of connection. Avoiding being hated doesn't mean erasing yourself. It means positioning yourself intelligently. The appearance of virtue can be deceiving, but consistency of behavior never lies. So start simply. Observe who changes when you grow, who falls silent when you need them, who praises excessively when you are comfortable. Small signs reveal great intentions. And here's the final point. You don't need to become cold, distant, or distrustful of everyone, but you do need to become aware. Constant adaptability isn't about losing your essence. It's about protecting what you've built, because in the end, power isn't about dominating others. It's about not being dominated without realizing it. So tell me in the comments, which of these profiles did you recognize the most, and which one did you ignore for too long? I want to know. And if this kind of content opened your eyes today, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Because here, we don't talk about the ideal world. We talk about the real world, and whoever learns to play this game clearly is never the same again.